It's kind of crazy right now, but I think Jared Goff is the MVP of the National Football League through 7 weeks. It's actually not even crazy. I feel bad saying that. Someone called me out. I said it was crazy to think that Jared Goff is an elite quarterback, and yeah, that's wrong of me. I actually saw him. We had a Mike Silver. I was on a recording with Mike Silver, and Jared Goff was on. They're good friends. It was just me, Mike, and Jared. And this was 2 years ago, I believe, when the Lions were 1-6 or whatever they were a couple of years ago. And at the end of the recording, Jared Goff said, like, "Oh, we're about to turn it up here." And I started. Thankfully, I was on mute and I had I had the camera turned off. I started laughing out loud. That was when the Vikings were 13-4 that season. We were really good. Detroit was horrible. I mean, they just looked miserable. Goff hadn't had the career resurrection yet. And at 1-6, I was like, okay, Jared. Yeah, sure, you're a good guy. Yeah, all right. Watch out for Detroit. The Lions are coming. And since then, since then, he's been one of the best players in football, and the Lions are probably the best team in the NFL over the past roughly 2 years now. So obviously that came back to haunt me. But in the last 4 games here, Jared Goff, 76 for 9. I think this is right here. I thought he was a little bit fewer pass attempts, but 76 for 90, 1,086 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, 84.5% completion percentage, a passer rating of 140.8. I mean, that's disgusting. I was sitting here during the game, the Viking game with my brother, begging Jared Goff to throw an incomplete pass. I was on the floor with my hands on my head saying, please, God, just throw one. It was driving me crazy. When guys were wide open in the middle of the field, Goff's making tremendous throw after tremendous throw. And he's just locked and loaded at this point. And if he's playing like that, the offensive line's blocking the way they are. It's hard not to see Detroit coming away with the 1 seed in the NFC. And if they have the 1 seed and Goff continues to play this way, there's no reason to think the offense is going to slow down. He has to be the MVP favorite. He has to be. The only guy I think is close is Lamar right now. If you go to DraftKings, it's Lamar, Mahomes, Allen, Goff, Stroud, in that order. Mahomes has 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Mahomes, I understand you're projecting it out because you believe in Patrick Mahomes to turn it around, and the Chiefs are undefeated right now. But he's not. He is not playing MVP football. And Josh Allen, the Bills are playing well, but they are not at Jared Goff's level. It sucks to say that because it's just, the Lions are starting. They're really kind of on that curve towards me having to root against them. Generally speaking, I've always just been like, all right, they're the Lions, whatever. But now, since the Vikings are competing for a 1 seed with them, I need to start rooting against this Lions team a lot harder. And Jared Goff is a problem. I don't fear Jared Goff the same way that I would fear, I fear Lamar. I fear Mahomes. I fear Josh Allen. I fear the Lions. I fear the Lions offense and Jahmyr Gibbs and the offensive line and Amon-Ra. And Jared Goff is the perfect maestro of that entire collection of players. But I don't really fear Jared himself. And maybe that's something that, will come back to haunt me as the Lions sit here in first place at the moment. But Jared Goff is not the guy I exactly fear. And look, if the Lions win the NFC and Goff is playing good football, he deserves to win the MVP because he's playing unbelievable right now. So I think he has to be the favorite, guys. I just don't see how they're slowing down. They're such a fun team to watch, Detroit. It is frustrating because I have to root against them, but I love watching Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Amon-Ra is a great personality. Like they just have everything that's fun to watch about football. And Dan Campbell is just a lunatic. I mean, he's absolutely out of his mind in good ways and bad. If you're a Lions fan, I'm worried it'll cost him. It did cost him last year. Like, let's just be open about that. Ziggy's not here to defend him. It cost them last year. They're going to the Super Bowl if Dan Campbell's playing more conservatively in that 49ers game. But that's part of the fun of watching is you never have any idea what he's going to do. And I wish that the fake punt had cost them the game against the Vikings. But, Dan Campbell's a lunatic. So they have to be the top dog right now. If you ask everyone who's the best team in the NFC, every single person's answer at this point in time should be the Detroit Lions. You might get a couple different ones in the AFC. NFC, it's the Lions. We'll see what happens. A couple more teams here. So the 49ers It's panic time in San Francisco. It's really panic time. Again, it's with the Vikings being good, I kind of start to pay attention a little bit, even though we're analysts to a degree. We're analysts here. We pay a little bit more attention when the games are more meaningful for our team. Anyone is. Panic's got to be sky high in San Francisco. I don't want to see the 49ers in the playoffs. And this is the first time with the news that's coming out in light of the loss to Kansas City. They're at 3-4. I mean, this week against Dallas, the loser of that game is in a lot of trouble. I know the Cowboys would go to 4 losses with the loss there, but you'd be behind San Francisco. If San Fran goes to 5 losses, I'm willing to sign like the death warrant. It's over. I don't see, they still have to go to Green Bay, to Buffalo. They have Detroit, who's going to be super, super pissed off in that game because of last season. It's must-win time. And then the injuries are just disastrous. San Francisco is more like an infirmary than they are a football team at this point in time. It's Debo's in the hospital with pneumonia. Ayuk's ACL. George Kittle's day-to-day with his sprained ankle. McCaffrey's got the Achilles tendonitis in both his Achilles. And for crying out loud, the season started with Ricky Pearsall, their first-round pick, getting shot. It's just really bad in San Fran. I don't know. At some point, Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, and for the system he's in, he does an excellent job. But when you take away all these weapons, at some point it catches up. I mean, even Juwan Jennings is out, and I think that this might be finally this Ayuk injury, even though he wasn't playing well, it just feels like, all right, at what point are they just done? So we'll see. They get McCaffrey back in a couple weeks, but they got to beat Dallas first. And who's going to be on the field? There's no McCaffrey. There's no Ayuk. I mean, Debo's in the hospital right now, so who knows if he's playing? I'm sorry if Debo's out of the hospital. I'm just spreading false information. But last I heard, Debo was hospitalized. So hopefully he's okay. I just don't know where Purdy's going to go with the football. And you're lucky you're playing a reeling Cowboys team, but at the same time, you're playing a Cowboys team that's desperate. So maybe it's good that you get the team that you own in next week, Sunday Night Football. But I'm worried about San Francisco. This is, what a horrendous season for them. When you finally felt like, all right, we have a couple more years here with everyone to finally bust down the door and win the championship. It's hard. It's hard to get to the Super Bowl. That's kind of what Dan Campbell was saying last year. The Lions, of course, are still awesome, but when he was crying in the post-game press conference and talking about how rare it is to go on these runs, it's because of things like this. You never know when injuries are going to happen. Tampa Bay tonight, Godwin and Evans hurt. Season could be over. Like, it happens. And unfortunately for San Francisco, it's happening to the whole team, but it just shows how magical it is when you do have these runs. You got to, injury luck is a huge part of the game, and unfortunately, San Francisco keeps getting bit by the injury bug in really bad ways.